Let's get into some topical stuff because we have two actors here, but they are not nearly as good as the actor that we see running for the mayor of New York City.
Oh, God.
Zohran Mamdani. He is possibly the best actor we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Let's take a look at the clip, Connor, if you have it. This is Zohran. He got in a lot of flack. There was a photo of Mamdani that went viral 2 weeks ago. It was a photo of him with, and I'm going to butcher this name, Imam Siraj Wahaj.
Nice.
He is allegedly a co-conspirator. Now, not me saying allegedly. The federal government believe that he helped the conspirators of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing help coordinate that attack. Zohran was photographed with that guy like 2 weeks ago. So there's been all of this uproar about him being photographed with that guy. Plus, you know, he's a Muslim. The 9/11 attacks were orchestrated by, if you believe the official narrative, 19 radical Islamists who came from, it's very odd, they all worked for Osama bin Laden, but they all came from Saudi Arabia. Well, 15 out of the 19 of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. But there's been a lot of uproar about Mamdani, his connections, the people he associates himself with. So he decided to come out and try and use the 9/11 terrorist attacks to his favor by claiming that his own aunt was so fearful of her life and fearful of the Islamophobia that gripped New York City following the 9/11 attacks. She was too scared to ride a subway wearing a hijab. Here it is. Here's Zohran Mamdani.
Okay. Go for it.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Well, he had indigestion from eating tacos. That wasn't.
Halal New York.
Well, here's the thing, though, Zohran. Your aunt was not safe in her hijab.
Why?
Because it means she's practicing a religion that views women as property and forces them to cover up in public or else they get stoned to death. Wow. So she wasn't safe. Go figure.
Yeah, and also,
very fair point.
She wasn't even in New York City.
Don't say.
It wasn't even her.
It's not a hijabi.
She
It was
wasn't
not in
the
New
aunt
York.
either.
No, if you take a look, the woman
made up.
that everybody started posting videos of or photos of is this woman right here. I don't see her name.
Masuma Mamdani. They found her
Masuma.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, apparently
hijab.
she is the only actual aunt of Mamdani. I believe it's on his father's side. It's his father's sister, but he has no other aunts. And it turns out that this aunt of his was actually working in
Tanzania
since like 1999 all the way up until 2021.
Oh, you mean he's a liar, Rob? Did he just lie those crocodile tears?
Well,
Impossible.
yeah. So it looks like the reason why this woman couldn't ride the subway after 9/11 was because she wasn't in New York City after 9/11. So it just goes to show another thing that Zohran Mamdani, and apparently it came out today that it wasn't he misspoke. It wasn't his aunt. It was actually a distant cousin.
How did how does he cry for someone that he doesn't even remember?
Because he went to a better acting school than me and you.
Right.
That's true.
Well, this is what they're trying to say.
Meisner
No,
trained.
actually, in these immigrant communities, they call everyone who's an extended, cherished relative
I was
their
gonna say
aunt.
that.
like
I
Korea.
called it on the PBD
Yeah.
podcast.
Korea,
I
not
said,
in the Middle
I said on the
East.
PBD podcast on Monday, I said, watch them. The truth is gonna come out because we figured it out. And he's gonna say something like, I misspoke and blah, 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 blah. And this is the freaking...
Here's his clarification.
Look at the... listen.
Yes, I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin,
Father's cousin.
sadly passed away a few years ago.
That's interesting.
And
Look at him, he's getting upset again.
for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a
That's
crisis of his
gaslighting.
own.
That's the
making.
definition
Oh, if
of
that's
gaslighting.
not... Bro, okay. If that's...
How dare you
First of
call
all,
me
it's
out
not
on the line?
Andrew Cuomo that's sitting here calling you out for lying, shithead. It's everyone that's calling you out for lying.
Yeah.
Also, it's very convenient that the one relative that he is now claiming was the person he was speaking about happened to be dead and cannot actually
Of course.
verify the claims as to whether or not they were afraid to wear their how do you pronounce it?
Hijab.
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 Can I say something?
On the subway.
This right here, this is dangerously stupid. Like this is putting New York City in a position because everyone's been focusing on he's a Muslim, he's not a Muslim, this and that. We're talking politics here. The guy's a freaking communist. Everybody, I'm sorry, that's the problem. I don't give a horse a damn if he's a Muslim or not a Muslim. If his aunt stopped writing the thing. Like we're saying that the Republican, and I'm going to call them out, the Republican Party of New York failed to place a candidate to fight communism, and they've been failing for years and years and years until Trump came in. And he called a horse, and he called everyone out. And he's cleaning up house, all these rhinos that failed to protect capitalism over the years, all right? We haven't gotten to the point to New York to fight communism with, like free market economy. That's the first thing. Like, everyone keep trying to push this narrative of him being a Muslim. He is a communist. He wants the buses to be free. He can't handle
He wants to tax richer white neighborhoods
and then
by
what
his own
pisses
language.
me off the most, that the only way to fight this communist is with Chris Cuomo. I mean, what's his name?
Andrew Cuomo.
Andrew Cuomo, who is a horrible person. What are we doing? Like, I don't understand why they didn't back Silva. Like, out of all these guys, he's probably the better one.
But unfortunately, his political track record shows that he just doesn't have it. Curtis Silva has been running for he's been running for mayor of New York City for what, like 10, 15 years?
Yeah, but what
you back him.
Okay, stop yelling.
Sorry.
What background? First of all, unfortunately, no one in New York gives a shit whether or not he's a communist because none of that has worked. At this point, we're going to have to find some type of scandal that sticks to him in order for there to be a difference. And this is the closest thing that we're coming to. Now, to the point of... I forgot what I was going to say. So go ahead.
I just don't believe any scandal. I think people are so polarized, they're cult-like in their beliefs right now that he can literally. There's no accountability for anything anymore. He can come out and say, "I wasn't talking about my aunt. I was talking about my dad's cousin." People are going to go, "Why are you still targeting for the like? He's the victim." They will believe he's the victim.
His father is another radical Islamist who has been tied to ethnic cleansing in Uganda. Like he talks about being, every man, one of the common people. He flies back to Uganda for his wedding. Private family compound with armed security to keep people out of their entire enclosure.
The point I was going to make was you brought up Curtis Sliwa and his lack of experience when it comes to running for office, or his experience running for office, but his lack of experience being in office. But what experience does Mamdani have?
None.
Well, he has identity politics, but on the left, identity politics is the
but
biggest play they have.
Can you see the failure of the Republicans in this side? Like, because the conversation is just centered on it used to be three with Adams, three really bad Democratic candidates, one worse than the other one, and we have no response to it. Because you don't fight, you fight fire with water, not fire with fire.
We have given up. We've given up New York.
We've given up New York.
We have yielded New York, and
this drives me insane.
But the way you know that we did it is because you have to look at the stats. Over 40% of the residents of New York City were born outside the United States. New York is not an American city anymore. The population is from every other place in the world, and this is a very common point you hear Republicans talk about. They say, it's wealthy, liberal, white women who are responsible for all of our problems. The awfuls, they call them. Affluent, white, liberal women. And that's true to an extent. But that's really not what's happening in New York right now. Because you have a lot of the affluent, white, liberal women voting for Mamdani. But what you also have is this huge population of simmering ethnic resentment. Because Mamdani comes in and says, I am going to tax rich white people to make life better for the rest of you. And you have a population, more than 40% not born in the United States, which means 40% not white.
Do you have the graph?
I don't have that graph because the one you're referencing was for who's on welfare around the country. But in New York City, this population of foreign-born immigrants who have basically taken over our largest, most influential city, hear that guy, another one like them, say, doesn't matter if my family is implicated in ethnic cleansing. Doesn't matter how rich we are, how many crimes we've committed around the rest of the world. I'm a brown-skinned immigrant, which means I'm going to take from white people and give to you, and they love it. They want more of it. New York City has been conquered for decades, so that's why Republicans don't try. The closest we ever got was when Lee Zeldin was running for mayor after Cuomo was forced to step down. And that didn't go anywhere. He got close, but
Not mayor, governor.
Yeah, that was for governor. We got Kathy Hochul instead. The best we could do was try to get Lee Zeldin in. And it is because, yes, we have the affluent, white, liberal females, but we also have this huge non-American population that will side with anyone that will tear down the country.
Points to a bigger problem. It points to the fact that, like, the very culture of the United States is under attack, and not through some kind of external force, but from within. That's a very scary idea. Like, people always say, like, we have to preserve our culture. But people are offended by that very notion. He's offended by that very notion.
Yeah,
that you want to keep America's culture, the religious foundation of America, the cultural foundation of America. That's what he's against.
Please keep going.
No, I just find it fascinating that we've lost such a war of ideas so greatly that you can have a guy like him who literally goes up and says Darfur wasn't a genocide. He publicly says that. He compares Lincoln to Hitler. He says the craziest stuff if you look at his life.
and the fact that he stands up there, I'm sorry, Vin.
No, go, please
The fact
go.
that he stands up there and talks about Islamophobia is the biggest problem facing New York City in the United States, as if in the aftermath of 9/11, before the dust of the towers had even settled, the Bush administration and the American government more broadly did not do a whole of government propaganda campaign to get the United States to be pro-Islamic. Yeah, people were mad at Muslims. But are we far enough? We just did our 9/11 special back in September. I recommend you guys watching at home go check that out if you haven't seen it already. But we're now at a point where we need to be able to talk about this as a historical event because we are 24 years out.
Yep.
This has happened like a lifetime ago for some people. Are we at the point where we could say if America was a just and rational civilization, we would have kicked out the Muslims after that? Like there would have been a crackdown. Any other civilization at any other point in history would have done that and been justified. Because when you are attacked by a foreign country and then you go to war with that country's population, not trusting the people from that place that live alongside you is a logical response.
The question is, though, you're making a statement about Muslims, not about Iraqis, which we went to war with.
And
should have been.
But when Trump tries to limit immigration from these Muslim countries when he first comes into office, it's a Muslim ban.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No,
No, it was on the
But-
high as well.
high export terrorism from those. Listen,
Yeah.
my own mother's from Iraq. I think people in the United States are incredibly naive. If you grow up in a culture like the American culture, there is no way for you to actually even comprehend on the most basic level what is actually going on there. And people sit here and they try and it's just how humans work. We're going to relate the way we think to how others think. So they see something, they go, there must be a reason. We must have done something. It must be something on our end. No, there's like a deep-rooted, you look at like the rise of Wahhabi Salafi Islam in the early 1900s and how it's changed the Middle East. You look at Hitler's even influence in the Middle East. These are ideologies that are not conducive with the West. And you don't know who you're picking out when you bring people into the country, and you don't know who's in the country. I mean, they said there's all types of terrorist cells in the country. They said Hamas has terrorist cells in the country.
Didn't even know.
But then for Joe Biden to stand there and say, MAGA Republicans, white MAGA Republicans and white supremacy is the
Remember
biggest
the guy
terrorist threat.
Walks in the border. They're interviewing him. He's like, you don't know who I am right now, but you will
going to
know.
know.
Oh, you will find
one
out.
Day,
Yeah, you will
one day
see.
you will know my name.
They tell us to our face, we want Sharia. We will take over through democracy, not through the sword. There are countless videos. Look at where people pray in the streets. They pray in front of churches. Look at where all the mosques are historically built over the years. They're built on top of the churches that they destroyed and the synagogues that they
I think
destroyed.
there's something like 800 mosques in New York City. So when you have Muslims doing these big public displays, they take over a street, they take over a park, and they pray. And people say, well, why do they have to do that? There's 800 mosques in New York City. What you don't understand is they are doing that because there are 800 mosques in New York City.
Yeah.
It is a demonstration of, hey, this is our land. We took it from you. We own it. Try to stop us. And we will not do anything about it.
Because
For the last
of complacency, because
Exactly.
we're scared of offending, and the American culture has been taught, it's not right to say something that offends people. It's not right to say something out of tune. I notice it a lot, like across the board. Anytime someone's worried about consequence or worried about speaking out of line, they just hold their opinion back. But to what extent? To the extent where your children will pay for the consequences? Is that what you're heading for? Like you'll just be silent until it's such a big problem that now your children are the one who have to.
Even from the standpoint of inconvenience, because for the last 24 years, when we go to an airport, you will see an elderly woman in a wheelchair be randomly selected for search just so that they don't get accused of profiling when they pulled the guy named Mohammed, who's in his mid-20s and just coming back from the Middle East for an inspection. Obviously, the military-aged guy named Mohammed is more likely to be a candidate for terrorism than the elderly white woman in a wheelchair. But we have to pretend like TSA is, oh, it's just blind selection. No, screen the guys who are obviously terrorists. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and why is it wrong to say we want people who love this country and will benefit this country and add to our value to be in this country?
They tie it to, no, you're racist because you don't want these people. No, if you hate America, get the out. Like, well, how you can't name another country where you could out in the open say F this country and do all that stuff and they don't do nothing. Go ahead. In Russia, if you went to the Red Square and you stood in the middle of Red Square with a picture of Putin saying "F this guy," I hate
remember
Russia.
Pussy Riot? They jailed him immediately.
Yeah, they got
immediately.
in jail.
Go do that in China.
Yeah.
Go do that in Saudi.
And I get it. You have a right. You have the right to do it and all that stuff. But the moment you question, there's a lot of this happening. You question somebody's attitude and like vision towards what the country, and you're automatically labeled as a terrorist, or I'm sorry, a racist, and you hate their entire group. It's like no. I'm talking about you and your ideas are horrible. It has nothing to do with your religion.
But listen, you don't blame the pig for being dirty. You blame the one who built the pen, all right? This is everyone's fault. If I was the Republican Party of New York, like, I did a terrible job over the last 3-4 years scouting the right candidate. Like, the Republicans had so much momentum. Trump is from New York. He's a big New York guy.
Why didn't he get involved?
Well, I don't know why.
Well, do you understand? That works great for him every time he gets involved in local elections. Doesn't turn out great for him.
No, I mean,
also, Cuomo said that he didn't want Trump's endorsement.
I remember that.
And then Eric Adams dropped out, who would have gotten Trump's endorsement, and he dropped out. The rumors were that he was going to accept a job within the Trump administration. The Trump administration was going to offer Eric Adams a job in order for him to drop out of the race. When it comes to early voting, which took place over the past weekend, on the first day of early voting in New York City, 79,409 voters cast early ballots on day two. Combined for day one and day two, a total of 165,000 people came out to vote early. They say the majority of those voters are aged 50 and over. So do you guys think early voting, according to this, it was record numbers of early voting happening in the New York City mayoral race. Do you guys think that early voter turnout helps Mamdani, or that early voter turnout helps Cuomo?
Oh, it's almost certainly Mamdani.
Yeah.
You think over 50 is for Mamdani?
Yeah.
It's the
I would have thought
it's the no
older white conservatives.
No, it's the no kings guys. Conservatives don't vote early.
Conservatives just trending-wise never vote early.
Yeah, we show up on election day and cast our ballot in person.
Conservatives don't vote for Democrats. Like that's the other thing. Cuomo. Like, you understand the number of people in New York that have personal vendettas against this guy. He killed my grandmother. Yeah. Like, can you believe that? I could be Republican, independent, libertarian,
They're not voting.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing in the planet. If he killed my grandmother, putting in her home,
I'll vote for Satan
like,
over him.
I will vote for anybody. All right. So you have, like, what would be 100,000 people that have a personal vendetta against the guy.
And the other thing
Well,
that's
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, the other thing that's so screwy about New York is that these elections are done by ranked choice voting. It's not just a straight ballot.
Yeah,
even
I
though
know.
it's now down to essentially 2 candidates, because Curtis Silva, for whatever reason, is basically not a strong contender. But with how they structure ranked choice voting, there's that spillover of, the more candidates you get in the race, the better odds of someone like Mamdani taking over.
Yeah.
So that's why Eric Adams dropped out, to try to give
More
his
votes.
votes to Cuomo so that he could overtake him. But the people who vote early, and especially that older crowd, it's people getting bussed in from nursing homes to go to No Kings protests. Yeah. And those are the easiest people to target for ballot harvesting as well.
And can we just point out, and mind you, the Republican Party, besides, the J.D. Vances and all the Palantir, I get that, but the Democratic Party, they're basically saying right now, this is our party. We're a bunch of socialists, communists, free stuff. We want Cuba. We want the model of what Cuba and Venezuela, because we think it can work here. We can make it work here. We're gonna take all the money from the rich people, and we're gonna have those stores, those bodegas and stuff. We're gonna give out food, and it's gonna cost $750 million to have these buses be free. But bro, I'm telling you right now, who do they don't have any identity. They don't have anybody. So guess what? The fact that Mamdani is their guy now. That's guy. AOC, Bernie Sanders, okay, the millionaires and the billion. Oligarchy. I have a video where he says oligarchy. We're moving towards an oligarchy from 1983. There's 15 clips every year. There's an oligarchy. And it never works. But this just goes to show you, when you spent the past 10 years saying this side's bad, Trump is bad, they're Hitler, they're fascist, and then once the smoke and the dust settles and he's not, you're like, wait a minute, who are we? What the hell do we stand for? Oh shit, the trans letting kids get surgery and shit, that's gone. The open borders, he closed that. Damn, not everybody is racist. Who are we? Oh, look, this guy's cool. He knows how to smile. Oh, he knows how to smile. Yeah, he's down for Sharia law. Yeah, he takes photos with terrorists. Yeah, but you know what? He's not Cuomo. He's not a red beret wearing guy. He's not, bro. They have nothing. So this is the best that they have to offer. And I'm telling you, they are finished. New York has been done for a while, but I can't wait, bro. I cannot wait for 2 years from now when all the stuff that they've put in, their little investment, they're gonna get the freaking results. They're gonna find out. They're gonna be pissed, bro.
Yeah. My one thing on that, I used to be like that. I used to believe in that kind of accelerationism of, you know what, fine. Let New York get Mamdani, and we will see the wheels fall off. The civilization there will crumble. It'll be a crime-riddled, broke, destroyed hellscape, and everyone will come to their senses and realize what they need is quality, conservative government, crackdowns on all these things. But that doesn't work. That kind of accelerationism does not happen. COVID proved it. Because we got all of that. We saw the experiment play out in front of us. They locked down the entire country for 2 years, and we didn't do a single thing about it.
Yeah.
We accelerated up to the point they got away with it, and nothing happened.
That was a great social experiment, COVID.
Oh, big time for the next big thing. But what? Here's my question, Connor. As of right now, unless it's a miracle from God, they're going to get him. No matter how much we've been talking about it, no matter how much, and I get what you're saying. There's nothing that we could do. Even once he announced, bro, I knew it. The moment they said it's Cuomo or the red beret guy, first of all, nobody is going. You're not going to sell the beret to anybody that's not French. Period.
That's it.
He never had a chance. Cuomo, sex scandal, all the scandals, the COVID, finished. There's no
Adams,
yeah, the guy that said, "Oh, sanctuary city," and the moment shit hit the fan, he was like, no, they made me do it. No, you're full of it. So now, it sucks to say it. It's going to happen, bro. There's no way this guy's not going to be
Sure, but I think there's something else going on. I think the left, despite what you're saying is that they don't have anyone, I think that after Trump, after the kind of polarization that we saw, I think they doubled down even more as an entire party of becoming more far left.
I agree.
That's why we see increases in political violence. We see increases in kind of rhetoric that is suddenly acceptable, again, with no accountability. And so this is the direction they're going in. They're polarizing. With what intent? I don't know. Destabilization, maybe. Maybe to cause such chaos that it ruins whatever Trump's trying to do, and then they can come in and say, "We'll fix it." I don't know. But they're doubling down on intentionally being a polarizing, destabilizing force and just gaslighting. To the point where, people are taking Tylenol because Trump said don't take Tylenol, and they're dying. Yeah. They're pregnant, they're taking Tylenol, and they're dying. That's how far people have gone. So it's not we're trying to rationalize something that's become entirely irrational. They don't care about his policies. They don't care about what he says. There is nothing he can do or not do that will change the outcome, like you said. Just where we're at as a society. It's pretty disturbing.
So we are a week away today from the election. November 4th is 1 week from today. So this time next week, you will have a new mayor of New York City. Let's go around the horn. Guys, who do you think it's going to be? Humberto, you first.
Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah, Mamdani.
Mamdani?
There's 0% anybody's going to go out and all get, okay, we'll go with the other way because you know what it is? They're not listening. The numbers, the poly market, the stuff is not, bro. Nope, they're stuck in their ways. And when you ask them, no, he's going to win. He's going to win 100%.
Honor?
Cuomo.
I'm with you. Damn it. I'm
What?
going to be the one dissenter. I agree with you. I feel like there's Mamdani hype. Why all of a
Mamdani-
sudden do we believe in
Yeah.
polls when we've always dismissed these polls and go, it's bullshit. It's
a fair
All of
point.
a sudden this year we're like, we got to pay attention to the polls, guys. Look how wrong the polls were when it came to Pierre
But
Poilievre
listen,
and what was going on in Canada.
They had an election before, all right? When they had the Democratic
Primary.
and it wasn't even close, all right? So that's how I'm not going from polls. I'm going from bets and the.
But at that
How many
point, they
people voted
still
in the
had
primary?
Adams in the race. Cuomo, I believe, was still on the Democratic side at that point, and
Was there low turnout or high turnout for the primary?
I mean, it's a mayoral primary in one city. I don't think it's a huge turnout, and I agree with Rob.
Oh, you
Like,
got-
the polls are always skewed for an agenda.
I'm going through
And-
bets
yeah.
and the previous election.
I'm totally open to that. I could be wrong, but I right now, if I had to guess based on the hype, everyone's talking about Mamdani because he's nuts, but a lot of the conversation is about how nuts he is. So I think I still have that shred of hope that New Yorker conservatives will do the right thing and put Andrew Cuomo in charge of their city.
I've seen a lot of New York Jews actually scared of Mamdani, legitimately fearful of him. So that,
Of course, he did
But-
just
but
do
at 20%.
He did just do a campaign ad with a bunch of transgender rabbis who were endorsing him. So it's not. It's
That
not
doesn't even make
perfect.
sense.
And now the really smart ones, they're buying property here.
Yeah.
right? They're not scared.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just checking out. They're-
Let me ask you two a
Florida
question.
real
Would you be
estate.
willing to make a friendly bet, not money, but just a friendly bet that you guys think that Cuomo's going to win? Because the people that you were talking about, the older people, they're the younger push of free stuff, just like with Obama, they've bought and swallowed that freaking Kool-Aid, bro. It's that number I think outweighs the rich that don't want to get taxed more. That voting block isn't going to sway these young people that they're pushing AOC yelling and that's, trust me, that's going to put him over the edge are the young people that are going to go out and vote, just like Charlie had all the younger people going for Trump.
So
It's like-
I do a friendly bet. I might have to bet something other than money because I don't have any of that.
yeah.
But yeah, I'd
We'll have you sing a song or something.
I'd
here
make
live.
I'd make my bet for Andrew Cuomo.
Okay.
At this point,
I'll figure out by the time we're
that
done.
confident?
I'm comfortable enough doing that.
Okay.
And I'm also comfortable enough being wrong
All right.
because
I will bet Delhi's car
Okay.
that Cuomo will win. So
Okay.
you will get a
Thanks, Delhi.
1993 Toyota Tercel.
Nice.
For the winner.
And it's the color
$4,000 worth of value. Right?
Final question. Does Curtis Sliwa stay in the race or does he drop out Humberto?
He stays in the race till the end.
Stays in?
absolutely
stays in the race and his beret gets redder. Angry. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.